What are your answers? Hi.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
What are your answers to those 3 questions?
Oh, great. What is your metric for a year well lived? For me, on the personal front, was to participate in 4 week-long immersive experiences, learning something that I don't know anything about, at least 4 in the year. And then on the creative and artistic challenging front, I want to do at least 4 projects in a way that I hadn't managed to do before, and to challenge myself. And then I have sort of more squishy qualitative metrics. It's just around friends and community, but I haven't like articulated exactly what that is. On the second question, which is, what do I not have enough of? It was community, which is what brought me to New York City. I have friends all around the world, but as a nomad bopping around, I've just never managed to figure out community. I've been really good at building an audience, but I haven't figured out community. And that's something that I'm trying to do, and I think if I stay in one place a little longer, that might help. And then the third, the who's, I guess that's what this QR code is for, so we'll figure it out, but I think this seems like a really good place to start. So, thank you.
Thank you for the amazing soundtrack. As far as you creating community, it seems as though you have managed to create quite a few communities in the production of your work, which I think is an amazing feat and something that creatives tend to struggle with when it comes to gathering people to help support big ideas. And I actually contributed some plastics to the current project going up on the Highline. Thank you very much. I thought it was actually incredibly creative, the way that you partnered with a sustainable fashion organization to create what I assume is going to be some large fashion-based works on the Highline, I'm guessing. I have 2 questions around that. One, how have you managed to create those great partnerships and communities around building your work? And what are you going to do with the plastic after? And will you track that progress? Because that, if you said you're interested in tracking the solutions, maybe track what happens after your work too. Curious on both of those counts.
Yeah. So I think, and this is kind of a hunch, I don't really have like quantitative, like hard data to explain it, but I have a hunch that people really like to be involved in things that are really big and ambitious. And actually, the bigger and bolder and weirder the thing that you're trying to do is, the more chance you have of people actually wanting to participate in them. Because it just sounds weird. It sounds interesting. It's like, oh, I don't know what this person's doing. I'm just going to come participate because it sounds really cool and creative. And so maybe if you're struggling to find people to partner up with you on something, maybe the question is like, what would make you want to partner up with them, and how do you craft a story that feels, worth people's time? On the plastic front, so the art installation that we're building on the Highline is made entirely out of single-use plastics, and we're basically making a giant multi-headed hydra with bathroom mirrors instead of heads, and that showcases the magnitude of the problem. But then hidden inside the heart of the beast is going to be like a little keyhole. And in that keyhole is a tiny miniature refillable station that people can kind of see how things used to be, with a call to action that says, don't rebuy, just refill. And so hopefully in one like nice Instagrammable shot, you can put your phone in there and you can pull it out and you can see the problem and the solution in one shot. And the art installation is going to go and live permanently in New Jersey, at a place called Kearney Point, which is where the Fly On NY headquarters are. So people can go and have their unsustainable helicopter tour of New York City, and then they can feel guilty about it and take some photos next to the art installation. That's the hope. So yeah.
Which one of your pieces is your favorite, and which one is the most sentimental to you?
Thank you. So my current favorite project is the Phoenix one, because I have really struggled to figure out how do you take this career of being the trash boy and like move that into something that's more hopeful and exciting. And so the Phoenix is my current favorite that I really love. The one that's most sentimental, I guess there's a lot of sentimentality around like my past work. The stuff that was just a lot more light and creative, just for the sake of creative. like the one where I tied a model 30 meters underwater in shipwreck. It's like, it's so cool to be able to have these projects, but I don't know, for whatever reason these days, I can't bring myself to go back there now that I have this whole sort of purpose thing behind it. So that feels very sentimental, but you know, a chapter in the past.
We have one over here.
Hi, congratulations on the great work.
Thank you.
So I want to go back to when you said you had this crisis if you thought you were kind of doing the right thing, and I found it very surprising because for us, your work is like amazing and you're an accomplished artist. So like if you have that crisis, like imagine like what more regular people go through, and yeah, like just how you overcame that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one thing taking like 15 years of my career and slamming it into 15 minutes and making it look pretty for you guys. And it's another to like live it, where you do, like I'm doing like 2 or 3 large projects a year, and sometimes like one falls through and it's somewhat feeling like catastrophic. The other is like I can spend years on a project or months on a project and leave there with like $0 or $- and just being like, man, was that worth it? Like, did I put my resources in the right place? And so I think that's where the feeling of crisis and not enoughness actually comes from. It's just like the reality of creating art is a lot harder than just a little talk that you kind of make it all sound pretty for. Like, it makes a lot of sense, but I had to string my life together to make sense for you guys, to tell you a nice story. And how I got through it was I have friends, just a lot of conversations, a lot of introspection. I took some time out. Like, one of the things that I've been trying to do is like work through my relationship to struggle, like shifting from ease to struggle. I actually wrote a series of guidelines on how to make decisions in my life, how to create a more sustainable life. I call it Golden Guidelines. You can shoot me a text and or a note and an email, and I'll happy to send that to you guys. Just really trying to like understand what are the how I work, what brings me joy, what makes my life work. Like, I recently remapped my core values, and I realized that my core values are actually, first, curiosity and adventure. So I love novelty, I love excitement, and that's really important. But the reason that I do it is because I want to have change and transformation, both internal and external. And I want to show up in a way that's kind and authentic and compassionate at the same time. So like that sort of created like a little bit of a guide, but that's also fairly recent. Like I figured it out, I worked through it. And so I just spend a lot of time trying to like understand like, what is the like underlying programming code that makes this little robot tick? And then from there, how can I work through it? So just, I don't know, I just human. Try to
And on
human.
that note, give this man a rock star round of applause, man.
Thank you. And Charlie. Good.